Good morning, dears, and welcome to Super Coaching for UPSC by Testbook. And I am Pradeep, your economy mentor. Dear students, do you know recently Google has removed a dozen of firms from its marketplace, Android marketplace, and this is nothing but a anti-competitive practice or the example of market monopoly. So let's understand this news in detail. So you must be aware that Google play a dominant role for smartphone scene, and it is serving a primary platform for app distribution and revenue generation for Indian developers. Let me remind once again, what is that Google play a dominant role in Android marketplace or smartphones, and it is serving a primary platform for app distribution and revenue generation for Indian developer. And recently the Google has increased their fee as high as 11% to 30% for in-app application, in-app purchase, and because of that Indian developer is of the opinion that this is excessive, it is too much, and it is nothing but an example of anti-competitive practice, and it is nothing but an example of market monopoly. Because of that, the Indian app developer like Bharat Matrimony, Disney Hotstar have taken a legal action, against Google, and because of that only Competition Commission of India has penalized the Google for anti-competitive practices, So let's understand that what is anti-competitive practices and what is market monopoly all about and why it takes place. So when we talk about the market monopoly is a situation where a single company or a group of company dominates and control significant share of a particular market or industry. That means in market there is only a single seller or the producer. Because of that, it has the market control, and it is not good for the competition. It is not good for the competitive practices in the economy. It is going to reduce the competitive spirit in the economy, which is going to reduce the output, which is going to reduce the employment, which is going to reduce the national income. So how it is going to be? Let me tell you that. Let me first tell you the features of monopoly. The feature is, there is, as I said, that there is single producer or the seller. There is high barriers of entry. There is no substitute is available for the product which is being supplied or which is being produced by the monopoly firms. That means they sold out a specific product and other firms do not have the close substitute of that product. Because of that, they are having the monopoly in the economy. Not only this, they have the market price control on market price as well as they have the market power. Not only this, they have the influence over the supply, and obviously there is lack of competition as well. So let's discuss that why there is single producer. In monopoly, there is single producer or the seller of a specific product or service, and consumer do not have a close substitute, even a close substitute of that specific product. Because of that monopoly firm has a dominating power in the market. Because of that, the monopoly firm used to take anti-competitive practices, as the case of Google. And in case of monopoly firm, there is high barriers of entry. The monopoly often arise when there is high barriers preventing new competitor from entering into market, because entry to market may involve high startup cost, it may involve exclusive access to the resources, it may involve government regulation, it may also involve high brand loyalty, and these are the barriers for the entry for the new competitor. Since there is no competitor or minimum competitor, so the monopoly firm has the control over the market. Next, no substitute. As I said that the monopoly firm has the specific product and the other firms do not have even the close substitute of that product, and this is also a important characteristic of monopoly market. They have the market power and they control the price. Since monopoly firm has the market control, because they are the single player and they have the advantage of having the specific product, because of that they are in position to regulate the prices of their product, which ultimately affect the interest of the consumer. Not only this, they can also influence the supply, because they are the single player in the market, so they can decide the output, that how much should be produced, which can ultimately affect the overall supply in the economy, which can ultimately affect the national income, which can ultimately affect the employment and macro indicator in the economy. Not only this, there is the monopoly usually run in the environment where there is lack of competition. Since there is no competitor, so because of that the monopoly firm do not have any motivation for innovation and in order to increase the efficiency. Because of that the total output of the economy is going to reduce. If the total output of the economy is going to reduce, ultimately it is going to reduce the national income. Ultimately it is going to reduce the employment rate in the economy. So these are the features of monopoly. Now let me tell that what are the instrument of anti-competitive practices, and first among them is predatory pricing. Most important instrument of anti-competitive practice is predatory pricing. So let me tell you what is the meaning of predatory pricing. Predatory pricing occurs when a firm sets its price below cost in order to drive out its competitor from the market. Once firm eliminate its competitor from the market, it increases their market share. As a result, their profit margin increases exponentially. And this is the important tool for anti-competitive practices. Another tool for anti-competitive practices is cartels. What is cartels? Cartel is association between two independent businesses to be formed in order to regulate production, prices, or marketing of goods and services. Let me remind once again. Cartel is association between two or more than two independent businesses. Why? In order to regulate production, that is total output, pricing of the product, and marketing of goods and services. And that is also an anti-competitive practice. Not only this, other anti-competitive practices, price discrimination. What is price discrimination? Price discrimination occurs when a firm charges different prices from different consumers for same product. Let me repeat it once again. Price discrimination occurs when a firm charges different prices from different consumers for the same product. And it is nothing but again a anti-competitive practice. Next is price fixing agreement. Price fix agreement involves agreement between two or more than two firms in order to set the prices for its product or services. Meaning, two or more than two firms are going to come together, they are going to have an agreement and they are going to set a price for their product or services, which means they artificially inflate the prices of the product, which is not good for the consumers, and it is again a anti-competitive practice. Now, let me tell you that what are the legislation available in India for tackling anti-competitive practices, and what are the legislation enacted for reducing anti-competitive practices globally. So, when we talk about India, first the act is Competition Act 2002. It was enacted to sustain and promote competition in the market. The Competition Act 2002 is basic act which is enacted to encourage competitive practices in India. And it is instrumental for protecting the interest of the consumers. Other is Competition Commission of India. Competition Commission of India has the responsibility to implement the provisions of Competition Act 2002 and to ensure competitive practices in the market. Other is National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. This is the judicial body which takes into account the appeal against the decision of CCI, Competition Commission of India. If any firm or any company which has the grievances regarding the decision of Competition Commission of India, they can approach to National Commission Law Appellate Tribunal for reversing the decision of Competition Commission of India. Internationally, when we talk about international institution responsible for promoting competition practices, first among is OECD Competition Committee. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. This is an international institution and it has a committee which ensure the competitive practices throughout the world. So that means it has the anti-competitive practices through various initiatives like OECD Competition Committee, which facilitates discussion and cooperation among the countries and competitive related issues. Other thing is United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. It provides the guidance on competitive policy. Not only this, there is also International Competition Network. This International Competition Network is network of competition authority from around the world. It facilitates communication and cooperation among member jurisdictions. And other is World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization is also instrumental for promoting competitive practices throughout the world. So this is all about our today's session. If there is any doubt, you can connect with me on my Telegram ID. Today we finish here only. Thank you very much, dear. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.